I'm gonna show you how to make an 80s style pop song by breaking down my new song, How You Feel. So this is the full session here. I've got everything separated with the beat in this section here. So if I close this off, all the beat's gone. And I mainly do this, or everyone should probably do this if you're producing your own stuff and not just using like a audio track of a beat made by someone else. So that when you're tracking your vocals, it's a lot easier to manage things. And even with the vocals, like I have the intro separated here in my main, my doubles. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Same with the verses, same with the hook. I've got everything separated here so that it's easy to manage when you're mixing it, or even when you're recording it, if you're recording it yourself. Easy to not get like lost or have like everything be cluttered all over the place. But let's get right into this, starting off with the beat. If you haven't heard the song yet, actually let me play a quick snippet of the chorus, just so you can get an idea of what it sounds like, so you know what you'd be going for when if you're trying to like emulate a sound like this. So here it is right here.
Got the power to change how you feel.
So yeah, it's like a feel-good type 80s style pop song. In this session right here, if I open up everything here is audio. So if you're, I mean, right now you can see like my computer's kind of working hard right now, because if I open these things up, this is a studio rack from Waves right here, but if I open this up, there's a bunch of effects and stuff going on here that is making my computer work hard, and I have this on pretty much every track with a couple other effects. So if I was recording my vocals with the beat as well, I would have like the instrument of the beat in this area right here that's taking up I guess like energy, or I can't think of the word right now, space, memory, whatever, all that stuff on my computer, plus all these effects. Whereas if you export your beat files so that you're just getting the audio track dry from your beat project, then when you come in here to actually record your vocals, you're gonna have like a lot more room to use effects on everything and mix the track without your computer or laptop like completely crashing. With that info out of the way though, let's get right into this. So I started the beat out with this piano from Nexus. Nexus is like a similar plugin to like Massive, Serum. It's like same concept and stuff like that. It just has a bunch of sounds. You can play around with the sounds to make it sound how you like it. But this, I'm pretty sure, was just like a preset in a pack of sounds I got. So we started out with this. And those are pretty much the main chords that like go throughout the whole beat. There is like a little, I guess, double time I did at the end of the section here where it just goes. And then at times throughout the track, I cut out parts of the melodic instruments just to make like it sound more different and not like everything is just looped throughout the whole thing and like very repetitive. But after that piano I played, I actually didn't do any of these pads or guitar or none of this stuff yet. I'm pretty sure I went straight to the bass, which I played in Analog Lab. And what I did here was actually use a type of, I guess you could say, mix style, where this is pretty much the same bass, but on one of these tracks, I took out all the lows, so it just has that like high frequency, I guess, like crispiness to it. And then in the other one, you can hear just the lows and none of that high pitch. But here it is together with the piano. And if I show you guys what I mean, so when I put bass low here, I just mean like low frequency. So here's the low bass. And then here's just the high bass on its own, or the high frequency. And you can see here, I just cut it out. Then together you have a more, I guess, like full sound with some crispiness or presence in the high frequency, so that it can cut through, the bass can cut through some of the melodic elements still. After that, we get into the drums. So here I have kicks, because I actually used 2 kicks on this track, and I recommend this for like everyone, I guess, getting started with producing or making beats. Like, layering is so important. Layering can like make or break your beat or even with like vocals, it can make or break your song. If you just have one main vocal throughout the whole thing, it just sounds so like empty and soulless, versus if you're adding like doubles and harmonies and ad-libs to really fill up the space. Same with the beat. If you just have one kick, actually let me just play you this first with the kick. So we've got the basses, we've got the piano, and now we're gonna bring in the kicks like this. And what I mean with the kick, so I have this one kick here. You can see it's like, it doesn't have a lot of low end, kind of similar to what I was doing with the bass. I have one that's like more to give presence to the kick, and it's not really focused on like making that low end hit. And then I have this second kick here that you can hear has that like main low end. And I think I kind of, going into it, I filtered off the high frequency. Honestly, kind of around like the mid highs, started tapering it off so that it wouldn't have presence in that high end. And then this other kick here could give it that. So then together, just the kicks, it sounds like this. And yeah, you see what I mean, like the difference just having like that presence type of layer on the kick sounds versus having the just presence kick on its own and the low end kick on its own. Similar to what I was saying with the kicks, we also have two snares here. So I'm just gonna play this all that we've gone through so far with the kicks, bass, piano, and snare now. And again, what I mean with the snare, so here's the first snare. Kind of has like more punch to it and isn't really focusing on the presence aspect, or like that's not what its job is. And then we have the second snare that you can hear is like mainly high-end crispy presence to make the full snare have, I guess, impact presence in both the mids and the highs and cut through everything that's happening melodically, which I will get to. And you can hear it gets pretty full once we add like all these pads and guitars in. And another layer to the snares now is the clap. So this is what it sounds like with the clap, which gives it even more, I guess, like fullness, presence in that high end. And the clap is mainly here just to give it more, I guess, like space and depth with the higher reverb on it, because I want the snares to give it impact. So like you're feeling the song, but then you also like, this is kind of like an airy, dreamy kind of 80s style pop song. So I wanted a layer to give it that space, which is why I went with a clap to layer it, but have the clap be like the heavy reverb type of aspect. So here's just the clap on its own. After the clap, I brought in this rim, like an offbeat rim shot, just to fill up the drum pattern a bit so it's not like very static in a row and it has some like difference to it. So this is what it sounds like with the rim. Then we bring in the shakers. After that, the hi-hats and open hat. And these three things are mainly just like giving a support to the kick, in my opinion, and the snare is like another layer when they hit together. Like they're hitting at the same time as the kicks too, but the kicks and bass are obviously like hitting more frequently than the hi-hats and the shakers are. So like I said, it's kind of just like a support to them to fill up the sound when they're playing and also when they're not playing. After that, we have the crash, which honestly, this stuff comes later. Like I usually do the main drums, like the bass, the kicks, the snares, hi-hats, stuff like that. And then after all that's done and I'm happy with it, I'll put in like transition type things like crash here that you see and reverse crash here, which I'll show you right now. So this is just with the crash at the start of the hook to give it that like bring in, like this is the bigger part of the song. Then the reverse crash is just here to kind of guide it into that, like telling the listener or showing the listener like we're transitioning into something bigger here. So this is what it sounds like going in from the reverse crash into the hook. Now we get into the other melodic layers into the pads here. So I'm gonna solo these together and go through them. Similar to the drums where you wanna add layering so that everything sounds more full and has more like depth, emotion, instead of just sounding like empty and lifeless. Did the same thing with the pads. Like I have a bunch of different pads in different octaves. Some of them the same sound, one in a lower octave, one in a higher octave, and some of them a different like sample or sound that I played that complements those other ones but are in the same octave as them, but just like a different type of frequency. And I actually usually like to use like melodic samples. Like I grew up playing the drums. I never, I guess, like properly learned how to play piano other than like basic chords and a couple like type of back double hand melodies or double hand pieces. So what I usually like to do is make either the drums first and then find melodic samples to pair with it, and then maybe I'll just like find a supporting layer or I'll play a supporting layer to the samples. But for this beat I actually played everything except for this guitar, which I'll get into after this. But this is the first pad sound. I've done a lot of rambling here going into this. So you can hear it's like a very dreamy mid-type resonance sound in it that sounds really good on its own, but then we add the other stuff here, and so this is the high version of that pad. Which sounds even more like ethereal, dreamy, and then together with the pad 1, so you can definitely see the big difference it makes when you add both octaves playing together as a layer versus just one on its own and the other on its own. And this is good for hooks too, because later in the song, as you can see here for the second verse, I just have the lower pad playing as like my main melodic element. So it's good that you can like take one octave of it out for a verse, but then bring it in with the other one for the hook to make it sound bigger like the hook usually should be. And most of these pad sounds too, I actually got from Analog Lab, that plugin. If you guys don't know what it is, I'm pretty sure like emulates old style synths. And there's like a bunch of different stuff on there. You can go through like pads, bass. This bass too, I forgot to mention. I got this bass sound, played it with Analog Lab as well. So Analog Lab, really good plugin if you like this like retro 80s style sound and want to make stuff like that. But now going into the second pad, this is what the low octave of it sounds like. And here's the high octave. And here we go together. This pad 2 sound I actually remember I got on Massive. So this pad 1 was a Analog Lab sound and pad 2 was a Massive sound. And again, I'm pretty sure I did tweak some stuff in Massive and Analog Lab and Nexus when I got these instruments. So if you do go into those or get those plugins for a similar sound, you probably will get a similar sound. But again, you'd have to like tweak some stuff to get it exactly how you want it. And you can, it's like everything's online these days. Like if there's something you're confused about, like let's say you get this plugin and there's a sound, but it sounds kind of like lifeless, like it doesn't have a lot of sustain or release or stuff like that, you can easily look up tutorials to see like how to adjust those things and then learn how to use the plugins. But now going into the final pads that I used here is pad 3. Here's the high version. I don't know why I went high low here compared to low high. So you can see here, like those other ones are a more like direct sound where it starts off with like a main transient and then tapers off into a longer sound. Whereas this one is a more fuller, constant sound to layer underneath those so you get the like bigger full sound of the hook. Because I'm going to show you in a second after I play the low version, but if I play everything without these two, it definitely does not sound like complete. Like it sounds like something's missing, and then you throw this in or these two pads in and it really brings it together. So here's the low pad of it. Then together with these final pad threes, and now all the pads together. Did I not? I thought I put these in a group as well. That probably would have been a smart thing to do, but here's all the pads together now. And let me show you without this pad 3, like how different it sounds. So you can see there how important layering is with not just like your drums, but also the melodic elements of the beat. But now here's everything in the beat besides this guitar here, so you can hear how everything sounds so far. Here we go. And that's like the main 80s style of it. Like that on its own will get you like most of the sounds you're looking for. And this guitar sample here just like really brings it together with that old style plucking 80s guitar type sound. So here's what the guitar sounds like. And as you can see, I did chop. Originally, this was just like the full sample off a splice. It was like a full guitar loop type thing. But once I put the vocals in, which we're gonna break down in a second here, and then do everything together. Once I recorded the vocals and I was listening back to it, it sounded like too full. Like there was too much happening with the vocals and then melodically at the same time. So I sliced up the guitar in places where I thought sounded good, complementing how the vocal was singing at the same time. So yeah. Another thing, like honestly, 9 times out of 10, if you get a sample from like Splice, or there's like a bunch of other websites now that do like samples type stuff, or even from like producers, if you just buy like packs from them, like you would want to adjust it based off like what you're making. Like they made that sample based off like what they were thinking, but that like you as a beat maker or producer should want to, I guess, warp or like change that sample to fit like what you're envisioning musically. Like you shouldn't be thinking like I'm stuck to what this person did. Like even when I'm collabing with other producers and they send me like melodies, or they'll even send me a full beat and be like, do you have any ideas for this? Sometimes I'll literally like completely get rid of all the drums, put my own drums in, I'll slice up their sample, or I'll completely re-pitch the whole beat. And then oftentimes after, like, oh my God, like I wasn't even like hearing this at all, but this sounds like insane. And then they end up using my version of it. So that's like, as a producer, as an artist, if you're both, like the goal should be to make what you are feeling or what you're hearing and collaborate with other people, like by combining what they did with what you did and then making something better. But here is the full beat now with also the guitar. This is like the second part of the hook, so it's kind of like a breakdown section. And you can tell like the guitar is kind of quiet and tucked away in the mix because most of the time the vocal should be the focal point. So when I had the guitar higher, because it has that like more aggressive style strumming sound, it felt like it was taking away from the vocal. But then when I brought the level down and then I had the vocal higher, it sounded just as a good like supporting backbeat to what the vocal was doing. Now that we've gone through the beat, let's go through this vocal section here. We're just gonna go through the hook because the verses is pretty, I guess like similar to how you would approach it. So with the hook, I started off with this simple style, like melody flow that kind of like works off the beat. So I'll just play like the first line here.
I got the power to change how you feel.
So compared to the beat, it's kind of like a pumping type of sound off of like what the beat's doing. The flow and melody, honestly, if you know what side chaining is, it's like usually you do it with like a kick and bass so that they're not both hitting on the same transient, so that like they could both be louder without like completely killing the headroom of the mix. Or even with like electronic music, like you'll side chain, I guess, like your synths to the 4 to the floor kick. So that's like like this would be your synths, and then this is like your kick. And the main thing with this, I wanted to give it that like old style sound, even with my vocals. So you can hear near the end of here, I'll play it one more time.
I got the power to change how you feel.
So you can hear there, I gave it to start out like that more, I guess, like top of the mouth tone, and then going into the end, like feel, I did it more lowering it into my throat or chest type area to give it that kind of like, I don't even know if it's like if I'm thinking like artists that kind of emulate that, it kind of reminds me of like Elvis kind of had like a tone like that at times. So it was just like a retro type sound that I thought would be good, or a retro type tone that I thought would be good coming off from the like above the mouth regular singing, or top of the mouth nasally regular singing into that lower tone. And something I also found over the years of making my own music, you shouldn't be stuck with like one voice. Like your voice in itself has so many different sounds that you can make with it to be artistic and creative with like whatever style of music you're making. So my advice to people now, and what I like live by, is when I'm recording a song, like using tone to portray the emotion of not only the full song, but like what I'm saying as best as possible, rather than trying to sing it like perfectly on key. I'm trying to like use more tone fluctuations to give the track more emotion. So after that, I just doubled the same thing and layered it with the main vocal here. So we have this.
I got the power to change how you feel.
And you can hear those like wider sounds there. I'll just play them together.
I got the power to change how you feel.
And you can also hear there, I purposely tried to go like, I got the power to change how you feel. Like I tried to go more throat, chest type of sound to make it different from like a different tone from my main vocal, so that they wouldn't clash, and it would also give me more frequencies all over the spectrum to fill up my vocal sound. And then even at the end here, like I more pronounced that sound so that it still wouldn't clash when I go into that sound at the end of the part, or the end of the line with my main vocals. So you can hear it here like this. So there's another example of like using your tones to portray emotionally, or fully portray emotionally, or get a type of tone or sound off that you're trying to emulate or project based off what you're feeling. Oh, I just realized I didn't include this vocal dubs high here. I think what I did with this, so I had these two doubles, and then I just picked one of them here. And I know there's a lot of stuff going on here. I do not use like traditional mixing styles. I went to college for audio engineering. At this point, I just like throwing a bunch of shit together. Whatever sounds good is what I go with. Like here, this probably looks so confusing. There was like some frequencies in this high end here that just were sounding too harsh to me. And even with the de-esser, it wasn't getting rid of them. So I just used one EQ to just get rid of those frequencies specifically. But then after that, I realized I didn't like how the full vocal sounded, so I completely took away some of the highs there and some of the lows, and I just ended up leaving this on because I was like crunch time trying to get the mix done to send it out to streaming services. But what I did on this one, I just threw an auto tune on there, and I transposed it 12 semitones up and then change the like formant of it, which is like the kind of like throat sound, right? Yeah, adjusting the throat length, and then yeah, fully crank the auto tune on this. Even though Melodyne is already taking care of most of it, which let me pull into the screen here. So Melodyne is like industry standard for tuning vocals. This is like a manual vocal tuning. So as you can see, like every note of your voice here can be adjusted. You can even go in here and adjust like the wobble of the voice. So I would go in here to pitch drift, and I would like bring this down to make it go up straight more and then up again, versus the, I guess, like gliding type sound it already has. So I'm pretty sure you can do this in Auto-Tune. I've just started doing it on Melodyne, so that's just what I like doing now. So this will like pitch correct the vocals without it sounding wobbly like Auto-Tune will, and then I just like putting a light Auto-Tune on afterwards to like fully smooth it out. So it's very, I guess, like untraditional, like you would usually use Auto-Tune. It's more of like a supporting Auto-Tune type sound that I go for, versus like using Auto-Tune as the main thing that's correcting the pitch of the vocals. But yeah, I mainly did that because it was too high. The key of the song in F minor is like still a bit high for me. So if I try to go falsetto, like I can't even hit the note because it's just too high. This like I literally can't hit that note. And I usually like doing a regular double where it's like the same octave as the main vocal but just a different tone. Then I use a lower octave of that, like I usually sing this, a lower octave of that, the main vocal octave in the regular double, and then I go falsetto for a higher octave to again give it like a full frequency spectrum, really fill everything up. And I mainly only do that for the chorus or the hook because like that should be the biggest part of the song. So here's the main vocal with those doubles all together.
I got the power to change how you feel.
And that's like the main part of the hook besides these vocal chants I did. And this is another thing I'll get into after I show you this, but I ended up going with only one of the vocal chants. So this is what it starts out with.
I got the power to change how you feel.
So I did these kind of like chant ad-libs because there was stuff missing in between the main singing vocal parts of the hook. And this also gave it that like more playful old school vibe, like when you used to have like a rapper feature on like a track, like there's like a Mariah Carey song that like really reminds me of this type of sound, but I just can't think of it right now. But again with this, I had Melodyne do like the main pitch correcting, and even this is like actually let me just show you this first. So similar to the other one here, except I had no retune speed on this because I didn't want it to sound wobbly at all, because it's more of like a chanting rap style vocal, and I only adjusted the formant on it to like my throat length to give it a more like, I guess, like deeper type of sound versus making it really deep by transposing it all the way down. But even with rap vocals, like Melodyne also is good because you can make sure everything is like on the, even your regular talking vocals have tone, and you can make sure they're also on the right notes so that everything sounds really good together. And I also did this for the rap vocals in the second verse. I did a rap verse, and same thing, like I literally went in to Melodyne. Let me pull up the rap here actually. So this is the rap part right here, and let me pull Melodyne over. It's very zoomed in right now. I literally went through and like made sure every single note every single, I guess, word was on the right note that was in the key of the song. And then same thing, if there was something that was too like wobbly or all over the place or like didn't glide well, I adjusted that as well for everything. So it does take a lot of time. Like I think total to mix this whole song was around like 20 to 25 hours, because even using like Studio Rack, like this has been a game changer for me, being able to load up a preset chain for like the vocals and then just go in and adjust things that I don't like. Like I didn't like the de-esser on here, but I liked this de-esser from I think Antares. Yeah, I like their like AI style de-esser that you can, it kind of gives you like a base area of a de-esser, and then you can adjust these things how you like to get like the perfect sibilance. But yeah, I like how this works here, where I get like a preset, then I can go in and adjust things like the reverb to how I want it. If I don't like how high the decay time is, I can bring the decay time down or make it higher. The distance, if I don't like how much the distance is, I can play around with that. So yeah, this has been a game changer for saving time. But this whole aspect of like making sure the vocals are tuned into the key so that everything literally sounds like really, really good sonically. And not only that, I also spent time going through everything to make sure like all of the, like sometimes when you're recording, well, this is how, like I said, similar to what I was saying before, I'm trying to get the emotion out as best as possible versus trying to musically be perfect. Like I'm really focusing on the emotion now. And ever since I changed that, I started getting a lot more like praise for my music. Like before, people would just be like, yeah, your music's all right. But now I get like compliments of people really like praising me for being like, your music is like really good. Like I really like how this sounds. I really like how it makes me feel. Whereas before, when I was just trying to focus on like making sure I was on note perfectly for everything, people wouldn't really like listen to my music, and they would just kind of say like, your music's like pretty good, or like you have potential, stuff like that. So the emotion aspect of it is really important, and that's why now when I'm recording even raps, like some of the lines are off beat because I'm trying to like focus on the emotion, and I'm not really focusing on like making sure I'm on the tempo perfectly. So another thing that takes a bunch of time, where if you're mixing yourself or learning how to mix yourself, but this makes a huge difference, is literally like adjusting these to I would turn off this snap to grid here, and you would literally go through everything and make sure everything is like hitting on the I guess beat, so that it sounds like flows really well when you're listening to it. But that was a really long ramble sidetrack that I just wanted to talk about, because I feel like people, if you're an artist and you're watching this, I feel like it would help out a lot to know that thing. What I was saying with the chants, why so many of this is frozen here, another thing I do when I'm recording, which is kind of crazy, I probably do like 5 to 10 takes per line, and maybe like the first 3 of them will be one style of tone emotion that I'm doing. The next 3 to 4 will be a different style, and then the next 3 to 4, whatever number we're at now, would be a different style. And then I would piece together, like let's say I decided to go with those first 3, I would listen back to every line from those first 3 together, and then like piece them together so that like the best word or like the best line of each section is together in one track. And this was actually a huge game changer for me, because I just track myself out in my room. Like I have a mic set up over there. I have it even off stand too, where I can just like hand hold it and record. But because I don't have someone literally at the computer to be like, okay, like punch in, punch out, punch in, punch out. What I do in Ableton is these take lanes. So I don't know how many lanes is this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know why this is here. So I did 10 takes for this main vocal that I already showed you guys.
I got the power to change how you feel.
And as you can see here, like it's pieced together. So this one, I actually just liked this full line on its own, but this one I didn't like how it started out. So I took this part of it, the take, and then went with this part from the 7th take down here to put together the full line. And similar here, you have this first part again, then I went with 7, and then I think I went to 2 here, which I just completely cut out of the take. But with this, you literally just like loop your section that you're doing. So in this case, I would loop the whole chorus and do it like this. So this bar up here means from here to here we'll keep playing back, and I just keep record on, and I go through this take, I wait a couple seconds, go back through it on this take, wait a couple seconds, go back through it on this take, without me leaving like my mic area where I'm recording it. Or even if I have the mic pulled up here, I'll just be turned this way recording in the mic, and I won't even have to touch my laptop. And I have every single take, all of them have a different type of sound style, without me having to like press record, do one take, come back here, listen through it, press record, do another take, come back here, listen through it until I'm happy. I can do this, and then when it's all the takes are done, like I literally did this for everything here. Even if I open up the raps, I don't know why this is like Okay, yeah, here, well, the raps aren't pulled up, but you can see I literally did this for every single part of the song, and it's insane like how good of a final take you can get when you do this versus like wasting your energy or getting so stuck on like trying to get a perfect take. Like with this way, you don't have to be like so focused on that. You can be more free and enjoy the process. And then after, when you're going to mix it and you're just sitting down focusing on this, then you just listen through everything and be like, okay, this part sounds really good with this part, let me piece them together, and then you have your final like very good product. But yeah, that is pretty much the song in general. Like the verses are very similar, I guess, like breakdown to what this hook is here. The only difference in the second hook, I did these background vocals, which is just like another layer to give the second hook something a bit different than the first hook. But even with this, like I feel like I could have done more here to make it sound better, because if we play all of these at the same time, actually I don't know why I'm doing this, I can literally just solo the whole hook.
I got the power to change how you feel.
So you can see it's still layered with that chant, but I EQ'd it and mixed it in a way so it wasn't like clashing with it, and it was just kind of like a background type of thing to give the second hook some more fullness or more stuff going on vocally than the first one. But yeah, that is the breakdown, and here is the full thing, everything together that I just went over. And you have your 80s style pop song, from the beat to the vocals to some mixing techniques or some recording tips I gave you there together to put it together like this.
Got the power to change how you feel. Driving downwards, I can't turn the wheel. I brought you flowers picked right out the field. Not a coward, no one's made of steel.
If you guys enjoyed this style of video, leave a like and a comment, subscribe so I know to do these in the future with other songs I release. I'm trying to release a song, honestly, not even trying. I'm going to release a new song every 4 to 6 weeks. I'm deciding on the next one right now to record this week and get it done for probably the second week of September, I'm thinking. I'm still gonna try to put out long form style videos like this once a week as content around, maybe if I'm like recording my next song, I might literally record or film myself recording it so you guys can see like my process and how I kind of approach that, similar to like stuff I was saying in this video. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.
Got the power to change how